What's going on? It's me, Roberto. Thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate it. As always, I don't think I have to mention it time and time again, but our attention and what we pay attention to is our most valuable asset. And so I very, very much value you tuning into this episode, sharing it. And so I do hope to bring value and be of service and help in areas that I wish maybe I would have had help 15 years ago, or even when I was born, from the time I was born. Why not? Let's just say that. Some of the things that I'm sharing with you guys, I wish we were taught right from the get-go instead of lied to our entire lives. And you know what? It's not really anybody's fault. Most of the people that taught us the things that we know didn't know they were being lied to. So it's not their fault. It's the people at the top of the pyramid that are responsible for all that bullshit. But anyways, today I wanted to speak about something I wish I knew, when I started my healing journey. And I feel like at a certain point, our whole life is a healing journey, because we're born and we're innocent. We have all of our spirit with us, and then we get churched, spanked, schooled, conditioned, programmed, newsed, peer pressured, bullied into all these things, and into this manufactured, I don't know what you'd call it, I guess, personality, role that we fit ourselves into, that we have to play based on where we're born, what culture, race, creed, familial background, all that jazz. So once you kind of come to the realization that you're way more than that, that you're more than your history, you're more than your ancestral history, that, I think at some point, some of us, whether or not you've consciously accepted it or you've thought about it, you know it. We know it in our hearts. We've had these brief moments of awakening throughout our lives where we feel whole, complete, and divine. Not just, oh, we evolved from monkeys on this planet and isolated. We don't know if there's any other life out there. All that fucking bullshit story that they told us and taught us and spoon-fed us, and some people still believe, strangely enough. But that's not the truth. And so I'm here to share at least my truth, my opinions, perspectives, the way I see it. And one of the things that I just discovered like 5 years ago was about life force energy. So whether you call it life force energy, other cultures, I think Indians call it prana, Oriental people call it chi. So there's different ways, I'm sure every language has its own unique way of describing our life force energy. And it's something that most of us probably really can't see, but we can feel it. It's that subtle energy that animates your body. It's your spirit energy. And so whether or not you're conscious of it, or you can consciously feel it, or you've ever really paid attention to it, it's there. It's what's animating our body. It's flowing through us. Call it electrical or magnetic or whatever you want to, electromagnetic, light. There's lots of different ways to refer to it depending on definitions. But the life force energy, our spirit energy, it's the most valuable asset that we have in our lives, and it gets pissed away in so many different ways, especially if you've gone through a lot of traumas, dramas, pain, and suffering in your life, addictions and things like that, which I don't know anybody who's free from those things. We all kind of suffer traumas and dramas from what I've seen. I don't know, maybe very few families that have kind of had that picture perfect life. But we all have that stuff, and it all gets accumulated in our DNA. Our epigenetic recording system records every single thing we do on the day-to-day basis, all our thoughts, beliefs, the things that we see with our eyes, that we hear with our ears, the vibrations that we sense with our bodies. Maybe we're not even aware of half of the transmissions that are being beamed into us, transmitted to us, sent to us, however you want to look at it, that are imperceptible to our five senses, perhaps. Like, there's frequencies outside our visual spectrum, outside of our hearing spectrum. Are those affecting us in some ways, even though we can't see them? Probably. If you're being honest with yourself, probably. And you'd say, no, they would never do that. The government would never harm us, or they wouldn't let that be allowed if it was bad for us because they have our best interest at heart. No, they don't. Because you want to know why? Because they're feasting off your life force energy. And that's what they don't want you to know. So I'm here to tell you, and it's not always easy to hear that like Eckhart calls them pain bodies, Ron calls them emotional bodies, whatever, alien parasitic life forms, whatever you want, entities outside of us that feast on our emotions, that can be trapped inside of our DNA, that can hop into us when we're low on spirit energy. If we're not 100% spirit in our body in the present moment, which many of us aren't, the average population is about 15 to 20% in our bodies, fully with our spirit, heart-based in the present moment. The rest of us are stuck in our mind. And so when we're off in la la land, either dreaming at night or daydreaming during the day, or overthinking or whatever, that's not us. That's not our spirit. That's not the light in the present moment. That's entities, whatever else you want to call it. You can whatever you have, demons. There's different cultures name them different things, but basically it's all feasting on your life force energy, and it's those things that we can't see that can hurt us. But today, what I really wanted to talk about was the fact that we do have life force energy. And for me, who grew up in Northern Ontario, Canada, not introduced to life force energy, chi or prana, until 5 years ago when I stumbled upon it myself. It's not taught in our schools. My family didn't teach it to me. You didn't even hear that shit on the streets. Maybe if you did martial arts here or there, depending on the type. But really, it's not widely known. It's not widely taught. It's not widely available. It is now because of the internet. So, the internet's kind of a good thing, but although mostly bad, because it hooks us up to stuff we have no idea about. And if you think the difference between, a generation and two ago, when people lived on farms and their whole world was, maybe 50 to 100 people in a community, or a couple thousand, the world was much smaller. There was less things to take our life force. There was less things to worry about. There was less things to know about. There was less signals being beamed at us. There was less news. There was less traumas, dramas, world wars, all that stuff. It wasn't part of our world. It wasn't part of our consciousness. It wasn't part of our awareness, and nor should it be. And I think we're going to have to get back to that in some way, shape, or form if we really want to grow in consciousness and ascend to a higher state of consciousness, because with the external inputs and all the technology and all the stuff that they keep, the progressive obsolescence of stuff they keep, dripping out to people to keep us occupied and away from our true divinity within ourselves. Remember, Jesus said the kingdom is within. He didn't say it's in your iPhone. He didn't say it's on the radio. He didn't say it's on TV. He didn't say your neighbor Bob's got it. He said the kingdom is within. Your divinity is within you always. It's never left. You don't need a fucking priest. You don't need a guru. You don't need fucking Miss Cleo. You don't need anybody. You don't anybody outside yourself. That's the big duping here, is that we're all connected to the divine source of all creation. It's within our heart center. It's our life force. It's our spirit that animates our body. Even if you don't have a lot of it, you still need, unless you're an absolute bio robot with a battery pack, which some people probably are close to that, being clones, just, very little life force, just enough to run the programs, but they don't have that spirit energy to understand what true light is and true life force. And so much of our spirit energy, so much of our life force is blocked within us. And how does it get blocked? Well, a lot of ways. And some of the ways I've already mentioned. Just even thinking creates energetic restrictions, creates DNA restrictions, creates blocked energy within us. And so, because it's like the opportunity cost. So you can only think about one thing at a time. Even a computer, we are like computers, and we're just running programs. We're like biocomputers. And this version of humans, the body that we inhabit, is very much designed like that, designed to remember the past and not be proactively creating, because our epigenetic recording system in every cell of our body, in our DNA, has not only all our stuff that we've experienced through our lifetimes, but all our ancestors' lifetimes since our lineage began here on Earth. So from what I hear, that could be anywhere from 30 to over 100,000 years. And why are we still here? Because every 2,000 years, you have the opportunity to do the ascension if you can reconnect with your divinity. But most people don't do that because the mind energy is so pervasive here. So a lot of us have been trapped here for a very long time, stuck in mind energy and not wondering what the fuck's going on in this little box, like this little box that I have of my Zoom windows. Okay, which hands? I can't. Anyways, you know what I'm talking about. The wall right here. Which hand is that one? And here, yeah, that little box, like a mime stuck in the box. But so that's what I want to talk about, is that our life force energy, our spirit gets sucked out of us every time we experience pain, trauma, drama, the 7 deadly sins. So I forget what those are. I had to write them down. I just made a couple notes about what I wanted to talk about, and those were some of them. So what are they? Lust, greed, envy, pride, gluttony, hate, wrath, sloth. So things like that, fear, anything like that. I don't know if that's considered one of them, but anytime that, those are all mind energies, and mind energy depletes our spirit. It disconnects us from the divinity within in the moment. And so all of that really sucks out our life force energy, depletes us, our life force energy. And so we have to increase it. We have to do things. We have to, if you can, I guess what do I want to say here? If you can get it flowing again, I guess is the point, and call it back to you. That's what a lot of the things that I've talked about on this show, and as well with my shorts, about doing the command, I now increase my life force energy. And if you're very sensitive, you can put your hands out in front of you and sense that energy, and don't use your mind, because your mind is gonna fucking lie to you. It doesn't. It has no. It's not nearly as aware as your body and your spirit energy, that the subtle energies that pervade the universe. It's like a sixth sense. You have to feel it, you have to know it, you have to be it, and you have to be heart-centered to do it. But you can increase your life force energy, because on a lot of days, as you go through the day, you're kind of depleting it and whatever, but you can feel it. And so you can increase it, saying, I now increase my life force energy. And if you're very sensitive, you can kind of feel it, and it'll feel like that little, maybe you've seen Qigong people talk about it, and they do the, put the hands here like this. But you can feel it. And so as you increase it, you should feel it get a little bit more, and it's going to be like that subtle energy, almost like a magnetic field that you'd be able to feel with your hands. And so I'm getting there. I couldn't feel it years ago, but now I'm getting more sensitive. And so if you do I now increase my life force energy, the reason you want to do that is because all healings, first of all, I've mentioned this probably before, and if I haven't, I am now, all healings are a command. And so, you can't do affirmations. You can't think yourself, you can't think yourself out of your head. You can't really think yourself into wellness. You have to command the energy. And if you think about what, computer programs are, command prompt, it's commands. We are basically biocomputers, our body, and our spirit's supposed to be running the show. Although this horrible mind that I don't know if the mind's actually up here. This is our brain. I think the mind is the collective consciousness, and that's sending signals to our brain. Our brain's more like the receiver. So that's why doing the crown chakra disconnect, you don't want to be connected to the collective consciousness and all the thoughts of the outside world, and all the mind control that's going on out there. But so when you command it out loud, you're basically telling all the cells in your body what you're doing. So it kind of wakes them up. Your body knows your voice's resonance. Your spirit knows your voice's resonance. Even though they're slightly different, they're made compatible, they're made together. So your body responds to your voice, to your energies, to your commands. And so I now increase my life force energy as a command. And your cells are like, holy fuck, this guy's increasing our life force energy. We've been waiting years for this. Finally, it's about time. And so do that. I now increase my life force energy. I now increase my life force energy. I now increase and you don't have to keep waving your hands like this. You do that to, until you get body wet with the part or whatever. I now increase my life force energy. I now increase my life force energy. And you'll start feeling it growing. It's no different than doing the mind to heart drop. When I first started doing the mind to heart drop, I couldn't feel anything. And most men can't. And especially because we're so dense in our bodies here. So as you start cleaning yourself out, as you start getting healthier, as you start getting in better physical condition and removing all the crap from your life that kind of clogs us up, the bad foods, the unhealthy habits, all the things that have kicked our spirit and our life force energy out of our bodies throughout our lives makes us less sensitive. So we feel dumbed down, numbed out, and dull, and kind of like just like robots. We've lost our connection with our divinity, our ability to feel it and to be at one with it, and for it to integrate into every cell of our body. And that's what we have to get back to. That's, if we want to ascend to a higher state of consciousness, we not only have to be in our heart center. It's all fine and dandy, like they tell you in the New Age movement, or just smile, all love and light, or in religions like, just be kind to your neighbor and follow the 10 commandments and you'll get into the pearly gates. All bullshit. That's stuff that's going to lead you down or lead you astray after you pass on. What you need to do in this lifetime is to become one with your spirit. You need to become heart-centered, but heart-centered is basically like kindergarten energy. And as you progress through the levels, it's really being able to maintain that energy within your body all the time, so that you can basically resonate 100% of your spirit into 100% of the cells of your body. Sounds like a tough job, and it is. So I'm working on it, and it's a day-by-day process, and it's difficult some days, it's easier in other days, and it really depends on what you're doing. Like if you're at home or in the forest, when I go for walks in the forest by myself, man, my life force is strong. There's not a lot of cell signals out there. There's not a lot of like unnatural sounds and things that are just chaos. So it's very peaceful. It's very easy to reconnect. You can do a mind to heart drop out there and get into your, command your cells and body to accept the healing frequencies of nature and the divine within all nature. And it's, it's really nice to be out, go for a hike in the forest by yourself, do some of these commands, increase your life force energy, do the mind to heart drop, get centered in your body, and you're going to start experiencing things like you've never experienced before. Really massive presence, maybe flashes of light when you start getting more light, because that's all we are at our true core is light and pure light. And so what's making us feel so dense in these bodies is all the densities that we've accumulated throughout all these lifetimes, which is in our DNA, and which is stopping our spirit and our life force from coming back fully into our bodies. So not only can you do the commands to increase your life force energy and get your spirit back in your body, but what I started doing recently was Qigong. And so that's spelt, maybe some people, it's pronounced CHI, so Qi, pardon me if I'm pronouncing it incorrectly, but it's spelled QI space GONG. And it's amazing. And it's kind of like Tai Chi. It's slow moving, flowing things, doing different things to, get the life force, prana, chi moving through your body. There's all different types of programs. Go online, find out what works for you. I have a channel, I forget what it's called. I think it might be called Qigong Meditation. And the guy's cool, and he's got a whole bunch of different programs, but there's tons of them out there because I just searched a little bit before when I was writing stuff down, and ideas I wanted to convey in this video. But there's all kinds of videos on YouTube. So find some different masters, watch different things, watch different programs, start developing something that's good for you. I like doing routines for a bit, and then, routines kind of plateau and you need to switch it up and try different exercises, or maybe, maybe one routine's 45 minutes and you don't have 45 minutes to do it. There's ones I've seen, 5-minute Qigong routines, very simple. So adapt things for yourself, do different routines, different days, or try them at different times throughout the day. I would suggest, if you can, doing it right when you get up in the morning and out of bed. That's probably the best time to do it, because it's basically getting your life force energy flowing through you. So why not do it first thing in the morning? You're going to feel less tired. And if you're like me, as I'm getting more life force back in my body, I'm actually not needing as much sleep. So I'm not eating as much. I'm not carrying as much extra weight and unnecessary muscle. I used to do all kinds of, I was doing P90X. I was taking, what do you call it? Like protein supplements and things like that. And I never got crazy into it, but I was doing a scoop here and there of, whatever plant-based stuff. I was never that into it, taking creatine and like muscle building or weightlifting, but I was trying to do P90X, and I would take some protein powder here and there, and I'd try to eat a lot of heavy proteins at the time and stuff like that. And it's just all garbage. It's all meant to feed your ego, to get you buff. Like, it's stupid. And I hurt myself so many times working out, as I've mentioned before, that I was just done with it. And so for years, I just did very light exercise. I was actually jogging at the time, which I quit about 5 years ago in 2020 as well. And now I just go walking. I just did a short about that, so I'm not going to repeat it here. But I just started walking and doing like yoga and a little bit of qigong, and then I fell off on the qigong because life got chaotic, and then recently this year I got back into doing that and tai chi, because I was doing workouts again, and something about working out just doesn't feel right to me. And like just lifting weights and stuff, it's cool. I do light weights here and there, but I would rather just be in shape and do body weight exercises and I found much more better energy flow in my body by doing qigong and tai chi and maybe some yoga and just dancing or whatever, doing body weight stuff, maybe some pull-ups here and there, some push-ups or whatever, and squats and things like that, but no more big weights. And so doing qigong first thing in the morning, that's going to get your body energy, your life force flowing through you, and you really want to keep practicing with that, doing the commands. And clearing out all that stuff. So commanding your body and spirit to release the genetic cellular memory of conditions you have. When you experience a trauma or a pain, if something comes up in your life, you can command your spirit and your body to remove the genetic cellular memory, the emotional charge to that. We are much more powerful than we've ever been taught, than most of us have ever been taught. And a lot of it, there's a lot of in the New Age movement and metaphysics and all that stuff, and it's how thoughts can control our reality. And that is true. Our thoughts are very, very powerful. And that's why we have to be careful how we use them, because they create energetic blocks. And so, as I mentioned before, and I think I kind of got sidetracked, is we can only think of one thing at a time. So when you're thinking about one thing, all other possibilities are locked out. In economics, they call that the opportunity cost. So the opportunity cost of, say, you playing hockey is everything else that's not hockey, because while you're doing that one thing, and I don't know why I used hockey as an example, fucking must be channeling Wayne Gretzky. Anyways, you can only do one thing at a time. Even computers, they can only process one thing at a time. And so if we can only do one thing at a time, when you're thinking about something, you're restricting the entirety of the divine, the entirety of source energy. All things that are available to you in that moment become blocked out, except for the thing that you're thinking about. So just for example, a while ago, I needed a new bike tire, and I didn't even have money for a bike tire, and I was like, whatever, I'm just not going to ride my bike for now. And then if you've seen my short, one day I was walking home and I saw I needed a new bike tube for my tire. And so I saw a tube laying on the ground, and it was raining out, and I was like, wow, imagine that fit my bike. And I was like, well, why would there be a brand new bike tube, not even in a box, on the ground? That's just silly, and I don't want to pick up garbage on the ground. That's stupid. And then I got out of my head, because I was using thought. I was like, well, that's going to look silly. What are people going to think? What if somebody sees me pick it up? The little fucking monkey mind just chattering there. Thoughts, unnecessary thoughts, little entities, people from the past, your ancestors. Oh, what do you think? You can't pick up garbage off the ground. People are going to think you're poor, this and that, or whatever. Who knows where these stupid thoughts come from? They come from our ancestors or outside entities. Anyways, lo and behold, I picked up that tire. I said, what's the worst that's going to happen? It's going to be flat. I'm going to be no worse off than I am now. I have 2 flat tubes instead of 1. And hey, you know what? I can spend $3 and patch that one or whatever, and it'll be fine if it's just got a little hole. So I have a backup tube. But I get home, I pumped it up, and I was like, hey, this looks like it's holding air. And I left it for like, I don't know, a couple of weeks, and I kind of forgot about it because I just hadn't gone downstairs in that part of the basement. And I go back and I press it, and it is full of air. And that came to me, manifested in the beauty of the moment with the divine. Didn't cost me a dime, and all because I got out of my head and decided to take a chance and just pick it up and see if it was good. And the mind said, no, don't do that. And the heart was just in the moment saying, who cares, not free of judgment. It is what it is. It's just a situation. Try it out. And it came to me. So all things like that, every time we think, it really, especially if you're just sitting there thinking, you're just wasting life force. Like Osho, there's a great Osho quote where he calls thoughts parasites. They're leakages in our being. They exploit us and they take our energy out. And so really, that's the whole point, is when you're thinking or you're doing things that are really mental, or you're in emotional or feelings, or anger, or whatever it is, that's all. Your spirit can't come into that. Your life force can't flow when you're blocked. So you're basically kicking your spirit or your life force or your chi or your prana out of your body, and you're creating restrictions that it can't come back into based on your thinking. You're creating, thoughts create DNA restrictions, so you become more dense. The more you think, the denser you become. You're not open to the entirety of the universe. You're not open to source energy. You're not open to the divinity within you. And so that's one of the big problems. That's why we have so much chaos in our world, is because of thinking. It's the mind matrix. It's the battle of the minds, and all this bullshit that people are selling you about. You can create your thoughts through your reality. Yeah, but it's the battle of the minds. So the example that Ron always used, and that I really resonate with too, is that if you're like, the secret, like, you can manifest your parking space in, oh, wow, I manifested my parking space like right in front of the store and everything just came to me. Well, no, somebody was in there, that parking space. You don't know that it was empty and it was just, you manifested it. No, somebody was in there, and because you're more powerful with your mind, you gave them a psychic attack energy, and they were wandering around, and because they're not maybe as a powerful mind, or they kind of got this like little inkling or this attack, like, I should probably get out of here. And so basically you forced your will upon that person to leave so you could manifest a parking spot, when your fat ass probably should have parked at the back of the parking lot and walked, because it doesn't really matter, right? So where are we now? All healings are a command. Yes, blah, blah, blah. So other ways that we can lose our life force. Attacks from the matrix, like I was just saying, psychic attack energy, which could be considered energetic cords. So when people are thinking about us, their energy signature is not compatible with us. So unless they're very heart-based, or they're in their heart center fully with their spirit, and they command their spirit to say like, hey, let Rob know, spirit to spirit, hope he's doing well, or something, just something neutral, because anything positive or negative is in duality. So, sending people good vibes, that's just as bad as sending them hate. I'm sending you love. I used to be on that fucking bandwagon. Praying for people, that's probably the worst thing you could do for somebody, is thinking that you know better than the divine, that this person needs something. So that's why you shouldn't tell people your problems, because you're going to have people doing all kinds of weird shit, praying for you, sending you good vibes. Fuck knows what else they're doing, or, and then people that you don't know could be casting spells or doing voodoo. So just don't give your problems excess attention. Don't dwell on them. Don't share them with people. I used to be that kind of person too, because that's how we were raised. Like, you gotta have somebody to lean on. Like the fucking song. So you think the first thing you do when you have a bad day, that you want to tell your wife or your whatever, your siblings or your best friend or whoever, but it's not good. Because then they start thinking about that. They start worrying. That's thought energy. It's psychic attack energy. It's energetic cordings that are coming to you, and anything that is not you is not compatible with you. And so that's one of the biggest problems that we have on Earth today, is us thinking. People's thinking that they know better than the divine, thinking that they can do certain things on certain dates, and that's all dark side energy. It's all satanic energy. It doesn't matter, good, bad, God, devil, good, evil. It doesn't matter. The control on it is no different. It doesn't matter if you're praying to the devil or praying to God. You're praying to an entity or an energy that is outside of yourself, and you're going to get hooked up to who knows what. You don't know. And with the duality, the swing of the pendulum, you pray to God, which is not source energy. It's not divine. It's the extraterrestrial alien God energies, the God plane of duality. So you're getting hooked up, and what God giveth, God taketh away. I didn't make that shit up. Somebody else did. So that's the risk you run when you start sharing things with everybody all the time, and it's really difficult in this world. And so you have to practice just going within and finding the guidance, your divine guidance from within, listening to your spirit, listening to your life force, listening to your intuition, listening to your gut feeling about things rather than your mind, rather than your friend's mind, rather than your priest's mind, rather than your mom's mind, rather than your dad's mind, rather than your wife's fucking mind. It doesn't matter who it is in your life. Your spirit is your only connection that you will ever have to the divine, and it knows more than anybody outside of you that you could ever ask. And so all that mind energy really depletes your life force. Everything that's happened to you in your entire life has depleted your life force. Everything you've seen, even horror movies, all the shit that you fucking watch on TV, all that stuff, your mind doesn't know it's different. That's why we have horrible dreams. They're parallel lives. They're alien movie sets that your spirit goes off to so they can harvest more of your life force energy even while you're fucking sleeping. Think about how great of an invention that is. So not only do we lose our life force while we're awake, we lose it while we're asleep. And so that's why it's imperative that we do what we can to get it back. So there's clearings that you can do. I'll put some links down below for that. You can do some qigong. You can stop doing a lot of things that maybe you were doing before that were really unhealthy. So anytime that you're in envy, fear, lust, greed, like all those things, like even watching emotional things on TV, that your life force energy, your emotions just getting zapped. And now with these liquid crystal TV displays, that shit's taking your loosh and putting it God knows where. It's probably doing it right now. From me to you, very dangerous profession. So what else? I just had a couple notes here. I think I've hit everything. But that's really what you want to get back to, is getting in the moment, manifesting moment to moment with the beauty of the divine without mind energy. Oh, there's the beautiful harp. That means I'm almost out of time, which is okay because I think I've covered most of what I wanted to speak with you guys about today. So I really appreciate you joining me. Thank you for taking the time to listen. And if you, I would love if you share this with somebody that you think might gain value from it. I know that maybe some of the things I talk about you've already heard before, but we all say it kind of differently and we all appeal to different people. So, maybe somebody's not going to resonate or really listen to you might have heard somebody else that says exactly the same thing. Maybe your son or daughter or nephew needs to hear it from me rather than somebody else. Even though we're saying the same things, because they're just not going to listen to the old guy or whatever, or listen to that crazy lady. But maybe they'll be like, hey, this guy's I kind of, resonate with this guy. I catch his vibe, so maybe they'll be more liable to listen to what I'm saying. Even though I'm not saying anything new, this information is out there. So what you want to do is you want to get your spirit, your life force back into your body, flowing through your body. You want to command your spirit back to you. You can increase your life force energy, command your spirit. Say, I now command my spirit to bring all my fragments, all my light, all my consciousness out of my creations. I command my spirit to bring all of me back to me here now. I command my spirit to cut any and all energetic cords to or from me now. I command my spirit to create a ball of light around me to stop any psychic attacks or dark side practitioners or anything like that. You get creative with it. Whatever works for you, whatever empowers your spirit, whatever allows you to really be present in the moment, and you'll start feeling it. Like I said before, when I first did the mind to heart drop, I probably did it for months before I could feel anything. And then finally I started doing it and I started getting out of my head about it. I think I was probably just stuck in my head because I didn't believe that it would really work. But now when I do it, and sometimes I have to count down backwards from 10, maybe 4 or 5 times, but I now command my spirit to take the thoughts from my head, which is your awakening consciousness, and drop them down into my heart. And envision your energy being from up here and going down like an elevator, down into your heart and then into your body. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then you'll be in source energy. Peace, without communication, no words, no vocabulary. All of that is mind energy. All of that is light of the darkness, collective consciousness, universal mind, mind of God, all of that stuff. Source energy is just peace in the present moment. And so when you can do things that you're in that flow state, for, a lot of people, it's playing music. Even if you're doing qigong or whatever, you're not thinking, you're just flowing, or you're dancing and you're just being in the moment, or even cooking, baking, creating stuff with your hands. That's why spirit has our physical body, so we can be creative and build and make things and do things with our hands and play and interact in this environment, in this body. We're not meant here to be mental slaves, watching things and worrying and seeing all this shit on TV and on the news, which is all probably AI and manufactured wars and all bullshit just to keep us in fear, which is all going away, by the way. So if you don't pay attention to it, does it really exist? I don't know. Stop bringing it into our fucking reality, please. Stop praying for that stuff, because then we just get outside alien energy. Stop praying for God to come down and save us. Save yourselves. Grow your spirit within you. Grow your life force. Call your energy back to you. Self-empower. Stop diminishing your own spiritual integrity. You're just as powerful as Jesus, Saint Germain, Archangel Michael, Metatron, any of the divine masters, Buddha, whoever, fucking Kuan Yin, fucking Sun Tzu, the whole batch of them. You are just as powerful. It's just we've been diminished. Our light has been diminished so much, and it's all because of our DNA restrictions and all the densities that we have here. And that's all judgments of our ancestors, and the judgments and everything, and the thoughts and beliefs and programs that we've run throughout our lives. And so we have to get back to that. That's what Jesus meant when he said, be ye as children. Be ye as children. And we're not talking about 10-year-old shitty kids going into puberty who are a handful, and they've already been conditioned. They're already full of DNA. Their energetic bodies are all filled up, full of entities. So we're full of all the entities from our ancestors, as well as the stuff we picked up from just walking down the street, wherever. But be ye as children means getting your spirit back into your body without being hooked up to mind energy, without judgment, becoming pure. And just like a baby is, just like when a baby's born, babies, when they're just born, 100% spirit. And so we have to get back to that to enter the kingdom. The kingdom is within, but we need to be pure. We need to be without judgment. And it takes a lot of work. So all these things that I'm sharing with you, they're things that I've been doing. I'm no different than you. I might have had a little bit better, a little bit worse. I went through a lot of traumas, dramas, parental breakups when I was young, family fights and things like that, lost family, loved ones, had all sorts of addictions. And as your spirit gets kicked out of your body, you might pick up addictions throughout your life from entities. And it might be eating, it might be watching too much TV, it might be mind looping patterns, all of these things, just emotional addictions even, and things like that. So, don't beat yourself up. You're overcoming thousands and thousands and thousands of years of conditioning and programming. And if you were like me, nobody taught you this stuff. So go easy on yourself, be gentle, be kind, be gracious, be graceful, and just keep working at it one step at a time. And it's okay if you get bounced back. It's really tough. It's not easy. It's definitely not easy. It's the toughest work you will ever have to do, but it's the most important work you can do in this lifetime, is getting your spirit back into your body and becoming, not only in your heart center, but 100% integrated with every cell in your body. And that's really tough. I can't say that I'm there. I think I've had flashes and feelings of it, but then you get bounced back. and so it's really tough to stay in that state. But if enough of us do it, then it gets easier and easier, right? So thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate it very much. Please, likes, comments, questions, whatever down below. I'm always available to chat. And if you have any suggestions for upcoming episodes or things that you might want me to mention, or even testimonials of things, how they've worked for you, I would love to share them, because the more people that have access to them, the more people that know that it actually works, and it's not just some crazy guy named Rob spouting this shit on YouTube with a very small following. But I appreciate each and every one of you. But yeah, so every time we share our successes and the things that work for us, it empowers us. I love it so much when people are living their lives, and what brings them joy, because it gives us all permission to do what we love. It's really difficult to do what you love when other people aren't doing what they love, because again, thoughts, judgments, which it's all comes down to thoughts and judgments, which clog up our DNA. When you're being judged because you're too happy, people are sending out psychic attack energy. This guy's too happy. What the fuck gives him the right to go dance in the rain? That fucking crazy motherfucker. What kind of drugs is he on? Maybe he's just got a lot of spirit in his body. Because I stopped taking drugs, so. And I do go dance in the rain. I do qigong in the rain, and it's awesome. So, but all those things. So if you're not doing what you love, what brings you joy, what brings you peace, what brings you happiness, what gets you in that flow state, you're doing the hugest disservice to humanity and to our world at large, because you're just contributing to the mind pollution and thought pollution. As there's this this thing called wing makers, and they say that human thought is the only true pollution in our planet, and I can't disagree with them there. So anyways, thank you all so very much for joining me. Don't forget to keep that energy in your life force flowing and increasing it and doing things that keep it flowing. And anyways, thank you guys for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Peace.